Hey guys, this is Cam for 15, joined by my uncle Daryl, and we are here to talk Chicago Bears football, Bears recap. As the Bears fall to the Packers yet again by the score of 27-10. Mind you, this game, even though for some reason the Packers kept the Bears in this game, it still felt like we were getting blown out, and that's pretty much what it was. Um, my thoughts on the entire game: every phase sucked. The offense sucked. The special teams sucked. I guess outside of Cairo Santos, the defense sucked. Referees, it's typical Chicago Bears Packers referees. 9 out of 10 times, the referee is going to favor the Packers. But my takeaways from this game that I'm just very upset with is just the fact that one, I don't know what Luke Getsy is doing as the play caller. Nathaniel Hackett has looked bad for 2 weeks, and if you watched the Broncos game earlier, he looked freaking atrocious. He giving me Matt Nagy vibes. Well, now Luke Getsy is giving me Matt Nagy 3.0 because earlier I made a tweet saying Nathaniel Hackett is Nagy 2.0. We might have Matt Nagy 3.0 and Luke Getsy. What I don't know what the hell this guy can't figure out. One drive after the two turnovers, the one drive where we run the ball down the Packers' throats. David Montgomery, Herbert, just going back and forth. I'm just like, these guys can't stop us until they stack the box, keep running the ball down their throat. You get all the way to the goal line. All the way to the goal line. It's fourth down after Justin Fields. It's a pass play, which even on that third down, I don't know why you just don't run a slant right down the thing because that's what the Packers were doing all night. Just run a slant. Either Equanimous St. Brown, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, I don't care who. Run a slant. But whatever. Justin Fields gets stopped short of the goal line. Fourth down. And I'm just like, commentators are calling for it. Me and my dad watching the game calling for it. Just do a QB sneak right up the middle, have the running back come up and push the pile and just go body on body. Fourth down comes and we get a quarterback, Justin Fields, in shotgun. And I saw this is like, this is freaking over. I'm like, hopefully this is the thing where he just runs up to the line, snaps it, and then he goes. But no, he stays in shotgun, snaps it. It's a QB power. I don't care if the replay shows Justin Fields is in the damn end zone. At the end of the day, the play call was atrocious. I don't know what Luke Getsy was doing, whatever. And after the Bears challenged it and it wasn't successful, you see Matt Eberflus freaking all upset about it. I'm over here. I'm like, go to your offensive coordinator who's on the field. Go get mad at him and to ask him, why the hell did you not call a QB sneak? That pretty much lost the game with whatever chance the Bears had a chance to get back in the game. Other than that, the passing offense looked absolutely atrocious. It's a little combination of receivers not getting open, and then freaking Justin Fields. Listen, I love Justin Fields, but he really needs to play a lot better as the weeks go on. He did all right in the first game. Mind you, we kind of gave a little bit of a hindrance because of the bad weather conditions, but he showed up when he needed to show up. This game, fairer conditions. He absolutely stunk up the joint. He did not look like a freaking franchise quarterback. He sucked. Offensive line wise, I thought run blocking was fine, with a few exceptions of the pass blocking better, but the same thing with Justin Fields. I don't know what he's seeing out there. He's holding the ball too long. Some of the decision making, I don't know. Maybe it's just the scheming. I've said, hey, just run quick routes, run quick 5-yard hitch or outs or slants. Gets him started. Obviously running the ball helps. And like I mentioned earlier, we're running the ball down the Packers' throat and we go away from it on that one first drive. And then it takes them an entire drive, like 4, 5, 6, 4, 7 drives for them to realize just run the ball. Defensively, they sucked. They were missing tackles, a lot of missed tackles. And
tackles.
Yeah, Kyler Gordon, Lord have mercy. By the moment Aaron Rodgers on the third throw of his third passing attempt, he threw to a receiver that was around the vicinity of Kyler Gordon. I'm like, this guy's targeting Kyler Gordon right then and there. No adjustments.
Right off the bat.
No adjustments to put him on the outside. They just kept him in the slot corner, and they just kept picking him apart. He got burned toast. This was obviously his worst game as a pro, and I know he's a rookie, but you got to do better. They were killing him on slants, and I'm like, dude, you got to protect your inside as a corner. You can't let these guys go into your freaking vicinity, into your space, and let them cut inside of you. Kyler Gordon, whatever. The defense had a absolutely horrible night. Just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
The first drive, I really liked what the defense was trying to do. First drive offensively, they basically just ran the ball right down their throat. After that, it was basically Luke Getsy being trying to show, I don't know what he was trying to show with that second, third, fourth, fifth drive, but it's like you have Justin Fields in the pocket. Justin Fields is not a pocket passer yet. Put the kid on the move. Run the football. Have something in place so that when you have to pass the ball. He was passing out of shotgun on the first down. I mean, I didn't understand not one bit of it. And then when they get in trouble, what do you expect to happen when you have a quarterback of Aaron Rodgers' caliber and you make a mistake, whether it wasn't a turnover, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. What do you think a quarterback of Aaron Rodgers' caliber is going to do? He's going to take advantage of it. He took advantage of a couple of things. He took advantage of little itty bitty Kyler Gordon on 6'2", 6'3" Sammy Watkins.
Yep.
Every time they ran the ball, they ran off tackle to the cornerback side where Kyler Gordon was. When Kyler Gordon had an opportunity to tackle somebody, is he trying to hit anybody? No, he's trying to arm tackle. Kyler Gordon is an undersized cornerback trying to arm tackle guys like A.J. Dillon. And they're just basically running past him. Play action. They're working Kyler Gordon's side. Granted, he's a rookie. He will learn. But today, he got worked.
Yeah.
Today was his indoctrination as a cornerback. And I hope they do a lot of film sessions just so they can show him what not to do. Nicholas Morrow, he's another one. When they ran off tackle, he's not running towards the ball. He's running towards an offensive tackle that's probably 2-3 yards off the ball, allowing Jones to come right up in the seam. Why not just run towards the ball, Mr. Morrow? I couldn't understand that. I saw like maybe 4 or 5 plays in which Morrow was running towards the tackle who was actually leaking out to help block, or the tight end who was leaking out, instead of running up the seam to try to attack the football. You know, Roquan Smith, he was slow from side to side.
Yep.
He was slow.
He was getting blocked. He was getting blocked.
He was getting blocked. And when he didn't get blocked, he was slow to get to the outside to make those tackles.
And I heard other Bears podcasters, they say, well, you want to know the reason why he's so slow? Because he's out of shape, because he was sitting out that entire time.
Maybe not. Maybe so. But if you're going to be out there, get side to side.
Yep.
Get it. And then Luke Getsy, Lord have mercy. I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 drives, maybe 6, in which he starts out passing on first down. When he does pass, he's got Justin Fields right in the pocket. And what does the Packers do? They QB spy him and they collapse the pocket. Duh. Look, I'm a novice. You're a novice as well, too. We're not the experts. We expect the Bears coaching staff to be the experts on the field. If I can see that him in the pocket is a hindrance to successful offensive football, then why can't he see it? Run the football. We had the Packers going there. I would have just kept running the football with Montgomery and Hebert. And then when we started running the football, we down 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
We're down 2 touchdowns. Normally at that particular moment, you start passing just so, hey, you can try to catch up and catch up quickly. But that didn't happen here. We had an opportunity to actually take control of the game. The Packers gave us 2 big plays. 2 box snaps. 2 box snaps. One we recovered. The other one they got put in third and plus 20. And there was another third and plus 20 play in which they did a jet screen, and the rookie wide receiver picks up almost 15 yards on a 2nd and 22.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. Of all plays, a jet screen, really?
Yep.
And guess who was in front of him? Kyler Gordon.
Yep.
Kyler Gordon. Now, here we go. And then here we go again. The QB, we start running the football down their throat. I'm just like, okay, good. Yes. Now the momentum is back with us. 4th down. Luke Getsy calls a QB sneak. Nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with that. I was hoping it'd be a QB sneak. Run right behind big, gigantic Sam Mustafa, 330-something pounds, get in the end zone. From over center, not 5 yards back in shotgun. When I saw that, again, I'm a novice. I knew that was doomed from the start. It was doomed from the start.
Yep.
And guess what happened? The Bears, they had a hole significantly off tackle to the left. Justin Fields runs off tackle. It was off tackle right. Justin Fields runs off tackle left, right into a. Now, granted, I can understand you can't see too much from a helmet while you're wearing it. But from shotgun, that was doomed from the start. It was doomed from the start. It really was. It really was. There was nothing. After that, the game was over for me. The game was over for me. Yep. The game was over. You lost all sorts of momentum. You had these guys pick up. They were big. Bourne and Jenkins was just blowing people off the ball. One key thing that actually did happen when Justin Fields ran for that 3rd down, he came short, even though he had extended the ball out. Me personally, I would not. And granted, this is just being nitpicky. It could, this just being nitpicky. I would not have challenged it. I would have just went for what that defense was tired. That's me. I would have done that. Now, granted, that's not a big deal because I think we got the 1st down anyway.
Yeah.
But the defense had an opportunity to rest. And I think if we didn't give them an opportunity to rest, we would have probably blew them off the ball again and gotten to the end zone. Yeah. Montgomery and Hebert, they were just finding holes. And Bourne, Jenkins, and Braxton Jones, oh my goodness gracious, they were just blowing people off the ball. They double Kenny Clark on multiple occasions throughout this game, and he was dead tired. After that, he got a breather and made the next 2 tackles. So just me, I probably would have just not challenged it. I would have just went for it. But again, that's small of me to actually mention that. But the Bears had them.
Yep.
And we blew it. So defensively, again, you know how it is. I said it last week. We have undersized defensive tackles. They were good early when they were when they had the gas. But when they lost the gas, man, it was just like they kept getting blown off the ball. The corners couldn't hold the wide receivers. The linebackers were slow side to side. They just got tired they gave up 200 yards rushing. And I'm sitting over here like, what's the best way to combat that? Run the ball yourselves. They're running the ball. You're trying to pass the ball. We're not passing the ball, yet they continue to run the ball to keep us off the field. And they are it was just bad all the way around. For me, This loss, to me, this loss is squarely on Luke Getsy. For me.
Yeah. I kind of say it's on that, and then it's as the team obviously, if you were thinking that we were going to this game thinking that the Bears were going to win, no. If you go watch our NFL Week 2 predictions, where we talk about every NFL game, we had the Bears losing this game. But I had the Bears losing this game in a close game potentially. So, it didn't feel like that. You know, it's just, I'm not mad with the whole losing to the Packers again. It's kind of well, yes, I'm mad always losing to those guys, but it's like it's got to the point where it's just like you continuously see some of the same things continuously happen. They started running the ball and it wore the defense out. Most of all, we had guys stuffed in the backfield. We had Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon stuffed in the backfield, missed tackles right then and there. Roquan Smith, he's talking about wanting that money that will make the new market for linebackers. Dude, don't get blocked by linebackers. Don't get blocked by freaking linemen getting driven back almost 10 yards. He didn't have a good game himself either.
And then he's a defensive play caller, or is it Morrow? Whoever was the defensive play caller at the line of scrimmage should have actually known what they were going to be doing. And to me, that's Roquan Smith. And it just didn't happen. I mean, man, they just continued to run the Kyler Gordon side.
Yep.
Continued. And I'm just like, okay, at some particular point, you have to realize what they're doing to Kyler Gordon and play call to get him some assistance. There was one pass deep late in the game in which Kyler just let Sammy Watkins, didn't even touch him.
Yeah.
He looked like he was in bump and run coverage. Didn't even touch him. Vildor. I mean, the very first penalty of the Bears was Vildor. There was another crucial penalty in which defensive holding late in the game. Vildor.
Yep.
So I mean, Vildor was bad on two particular plays, but Kyler Gordon was horrible throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
And the Bears should have seen that, just like you and I did, being novices. If we can see it, I know they saw it too.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything to adjust to give that young man some help over the top.
Yeah.
Or across the middle. They didn't do any of that. So they didn't adjust for Kyler Gordon. They're running directly to his side. Now I get it. You can't take the guy out because you'll kill his confidence. I get that by him being a rookie.
Yep.
So if that be the case, get him some help.
Yeah.
Do something. Adjust. But I hate losing to the Packers.
Yeah.
Man, I just hate losing to the Packers. I mean, it's the Packers, man.
Yeah. The defense, they have to be better with the tackling. You just can't have those many missed tackles because some of those were like 1 yard gains and missed tackling. The more you see it, you just kind of throw your hands up in the air and it's like, what are they gonna do? You gotta wrap up, make tackles. You can't have these guys, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, just going crazy if you're not wrapping up. I outside of that, I thought the Bears secondary outside of Kyler Gordon was all right, but hey, let's be honest, they weren't really targeted. Jalen Johnson wasn't targeted. Jaquan Brisker wasn't really targeted. The only issue I saw with Jaquan Brisker is he's just missing tackles tonight.
Eddie Jackson, he got targeted one time with Tanyan late in the game.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, all they did was target Kyler Gordon. I mean, I don't have the raw numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure once we get them for the next video, we'll see that Kyler Gordon was targeted a lot, whether it be run or pass. This game was all about targeting Kyler Gordon. You can see that was in the game plan. Wherever number 6 is, that's where we're going to attack.
Yep. So you best believe the Texans are going to look that way, and especially with Brandon Cooks as a slot receiver.
Yep.
Joy. Just joy.
Yep. So
Um,
another thing the Packers did too, they really didn't play a lot of those young wide receivers this game.
yep.
They played 87 on a couple of plays, but for the most part, it was Tanya, it was Cobb, it was Watkins for the most part throughout the entire game, as well as Dillon and Jones in the passing game. So you can tell the Packers adjusted from week 1 to week 2. The Bears, on the other hand,
Yeah.
yeah, man. It was, to me, it was this was a bad loss, man.
Yeah.
But offensively, for me, it's
Yeah.
we lauded the coaching staff last week, but we really got to really get on the coaching staff this week. Getsy's play calling. Williams didn't seem to adjust much when Kyler Gordon was being just totally obliterated, and Coach Eberflus, the discipline, the gave him credit for having the 3 penalties last week, whereas this week, penalties, pretty much hurt us this week. Vildor's 2 penalties. I think Brisker had one as well too. That was crucial.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of holding. Granted, the Packers, they didn't call much on the Packers because I know they were holding a lot, or the Bears seem to be complaining about holds.
Yeah.
So, but
just got to play the game.
To me, it was just a failure on the coaching staff as a whole, as opposed to week 1 when we lauded them. So we got to give credit where credit is due. The Packers did what they were supposed to do to get a W, and our coaching staff just didn't adjust.
Yep. And moving on from the defensive side to the ball, I don't really want to talk special teams. Special teams was just that. Only thing I'll say about special teams is the returners on kickoff return, just take the touchback. Don't just freaking return it, whether it's Tristan Ebner or Marset or whatever. Just take the touchback. You're going to be at the 20-yard line.
Yeah. What I noticed that we need Velus Jones Jr. That's basically what it is. These guys was slow. Once the Tristan Ebner seemed really slow, he seemed really undecided as far as where to go. They use so many bodies for returners that you can definitely tell that these are all backups to Velus Jones Jr. And so whenever he comes back, then
he better. Otherwise,
maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see a difference. But yeah, we need a really good speedy guy back there, because obviously the guys we got back there just aren't good enough to be back there.
Yeah,
that's what I saw. I saw that we need Velus Jones Jr. As a kick and punt returner. That's what I saw. That the other guys they're just too slow.
Yeah. And like I said, that Velus Jones Jr. pick, we both agreed on our drafting. We did not like that pick. We thought there were better receivers available at the time. I believe George Pickens was still there. And right now, Velus Jones Jr., this is his second week with his hamstring injury. And we don't even know if he's going to play next week. Yeah. So that's another question that I would love, if I was in the media, I would ask Ryan Poles, were you really sure about making this pick? Because this guy seems like he's a very injury-prone player.
Yeah. I think the last time we drafted a wide receiver was Kevin White. He had a lot of hamstring injuries as well, and he just didn't turn out. So maybe the Bears are going to be a little bit careful with Jones Jr. because they know what he can bring. And I got to admit, I mean, there was a couple of videos the Chicago Bears put out about Velus Jones Jr. And there was one, he burned Kyler Gordon on a play.
Yep.
So and we talked about that then. We didn't know if it was just, is Velus Jones Jr. that good, or is Kyler Gordon that bad? So if that video was indicative of anything, is that Kyler Gordon needs some work. He needs some work, So, but yeah, we do need Velus Jones Jr. That's the only thing I noticed on special teams. The blocks were there. The wall was there. We just needed a really fast guy to hit it.
Yep. Moving on from that, going to the offense. Like we mentioned earlier, I don't know what the hell Getsy was play calling tonight. First drive was absolutely perfect, and I was like, well, if, you can run the ball, incorporate some play action into it, this can get you a dub. I like the flea flicker pass, which was probably the only pass play I enjoyed. Um, I kind of wish Getsy would call, like I said, more quick routes, whether it's slants, out, something to get Justin Fields going before he starts attempting these downfield passes.
Correct.
And then another thing is, I really do. I understand this team wants to rely heavy on the run. I understand that. But you got to give Justin Fields more than 11 passing attempts. 11 passing attempts is way too little. Now, I don't know if they don't have confidence in Fields. I don't know what the reasoning why, because last week I think he had about 18 attempts or something like that, or he had a low throwing attempts. This week it's 11. Justin Fields only completed 7 of the passes for 70 yards. At the same time, I will say, like I said, I like Justin Fields, but he has to play better. He has to play better, plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like he was holding on to the ball too long. Again, maybe that's play design. Maybe Luke Getsy, like I said earlier, have some quick slants, have some out routes, have maybe Cole Kmet run a little out, somebody to check it down to. I don't know. Push the ball down the field. And like I said, maybe they are doing that, and Justin Fields is holding the ball too long. That could be a combination of receivers not really getting open. I don't
That's
know.
what it is. I think that's what it is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. They don't have a number one guy.
Yep.
They don't have really this blistering speed on the outside. There was one play in which, there was a really nice play action pass in which, Mooney had he had a deep pass, but Eric Stokes beat him to the ball because Mooney just wasn't fast enough. So I didn't see a lot of Mooney in the slot. I just saw him pretty much wide.
Yep.
And whereas last year they moved him around a lot and put him in the slot. I would agree with you. More slants. Hell, there was not one jet sweep we tried. So enough. There was no quick reads, anything to keep the defense off balance. It was basically the same thing. Hike the ball. Justin looks for his 2s and 3s to try to get open because we don't have a true number one. Yep. They can't get open, and thus here we go. The play is broken down. Yep. So again, for me, that's still all on Getsy. Doesn't seem like he seemed like he knows, but I guess he wants to run a specific kind of offense that's vertical when he don't have the players to run a vertical offense. Mooney ain't one of them cats that's just going to take the top off the defense. He's a possession receiver. He's a slot receiver. They don't have a slot receiver on. They got a bunch of slots and not a number one guy. So for me, that's still on Getsy.
Yeah. I definitely do believe Justin Fields in the Texans game, he has to have a fairly good game. Good game. Like I said, I would like to see him pass over 200 yards, but I can't really see that if he's only getting 11 attempts passing. So,
it's the kind of attempts they take. It's like if you're gonna run an offensive play and expect these 2s and 3s to get down the field, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah. And that's what he's trying to do. He's got these 2s and 3s trying to, get 15 plus yards up the field. Let's try some dinking and dunking. Dink and dunk, and then when they expect dink and dunk, bam, hit them deep.
Yep.
But that's what Rodgers did. Rodgers dinked and dunked. He dinked and dunked. He dinked and dunked. Picked us apart. And you would have thought that Getsy would know this stuff, considering he came from the Green Bay organization.
Yep.
Dink and dunk. Dink and dunk.
Yeah,
dink and dunk.
Put it in the playmakers' hands. Put it in their hands.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dink and dunk. Dink and dunk. Let the receivers try to make extra yards. But we were running the ball down your throat.
Yeah.
It
would have kept the defense honest.
Yeah. But, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Again, I'm not in those rooms. I'm not in that QB room. I'm not in that wide receiver room. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Justin Fields wants to run a specific kind of offense. Maybe he thinks he's better than what he truly is at this particular. I don't know. Run me a play in which these guys can get vertical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, but this offensive line seems to be really good at run blocking, not so great at pass blocking.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't get you 3 seconds.
Yeah.
These wide receivers can't get open.
Yeah. And if anything, the best way to get these receivers open, like I said, just run quick routes and just have Justin throw
Quick
it
routes.
the moment the break happens. But that's the
Correct.
thing.
You see automatically that the defense is already in they're in bump and run coverage.
Yeah.
Most times. And the IQ of the receivers just seemed a little bit low to be able to pick up zones so they can get in certain areas. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Equanimeous St. Brown was pretty good tonight.
Yeah. Even though he had 2 receptions, 39 yards, I thought he was the best receiver tonight.
He was the best receiver on the board.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And then going on, Luke Getsy, like I said, he has to do a better job at scheming Mooney and especially Kmet, because this entire offseason we heard how Justin Fields worked with those two guys. First 2 weeks, nowhere to be found.
Yep.
Nowhere. And Kmet, he had a target. He had a target.
Both of them got one target. Both of them got one target. Kmet dropped his. And honestly, if that had been Velus, to me, that had been Velus Jones Jr., because he can't take the top off of defense, then that play action fake, I think Jones would have got that one. Mooney just wasn't fast enough to get to it because Stokes just outran him to the spot and cut him off.
Yep. And then I did see, I guess Adam Johns, a Bears reporter, said that on one of the third downs, Equanimeous was like wide open and it could have been a touchdown play. Justin Fields didn't see him.
Just Fields didn't see him because he's running for his life.
Yep. So, yeah. Last thing I want to talk about offensively, the running game was probably the best thing. The best thing out of the thing. Montgomery had
the running game was on point.
15 yards for 122 yards rushing. No, 15 carries for 122 yards rushing. That one drive where he was just, it was like second and something. He pretty much picked up the first down. I'm like, okay, until they stack the box, keep giving it to him. Herbert.
Keep giving him the ball. It was second and 20. And he picked up 22 on one run? Second and 20.
Yeah.
I'm just like, at that particular moment right there, I'm just like, ooh, we got him. I'm going to run this ball so far down their throat, they won't even be able to pick anything up. But I will say we were running. And that one play, again, it's nitpicky on my part, but I personally would not have challenged it. I would have just been like, okay, I'm going to keep that defense on the field. I'm going to go ahead and hurry up. And while that defense is tired, run that ball right down the middle again. That's what I would. But again, it's nitpicky. But, we still ran the ball. We still had an opportunity to make it a 24-17 game. And the QB sneak, we've already talked about it. I don't want to talk about it no more.
Yeah, Khalil Herbert had 4 carries for 38 yards. Fields had 8 carries for 20 yards. Total-wise, rushing 180 yards.
Yep, and they had two? At one point, they had 194.
Yeah.
That I saw, but I mean, for me, our defensive tackles are undersized and they're getting blown off the ball. They got dominated with the A gaps last week. The A gaps got dominated again this week. The linebackers, they got to be better in stopping the run.
Yeah, I think we can just grade everything. I'll say I guess special teams I would give them at least a C or a B minus. Everything defense and offense wise, honestly, I would probably give them. Defensively, I'd probably give them a D. Offensively, I'd probably give them an F.
Me, I'll say this. The running game, straight A's across the board because Packers couldn't stop it. Passing game, F. Defense, with the exception of Kyler Gordon. I thought the defense played very well. I did. They just attacked Kyler Gordon at every turn. So, but overall, I'll say a C. Special teams,
really didn't do anything.
Yeah, they really didn't do anything. So I'll just say push. I mean, you really can't say good or bad because I mean, they really didn't get an opportunity. Well, actually, they did get an opportunity. I mean, the Packers scored 27, so they did kick quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was just, other than the running game, the Bears it was just a complete disaster.
Yeah. And so next week, the Bears move on to play the Houston Texans. A Houston Texans team the last 2 weeks have played very competitive football as of late. They had a very competitive game against the Colts that went to a tie. And then it came down to their last drive to try to beat the Broncos, where they had the Broncos. It's just a young team and they lost that game. So pretty much you're going to have two bad teams play each other. It's gonna be interesting to see who wants it more. Two teams that pretty much have the same philosophy. It's just with the Houston Texans, their offense looks slightly better than the Bears do. So
you're saying the Bears have the philosophy right now? I don't see
defensive philosophy, the way that how hard they play because Lovie Smith's
okay.
that type of style.
Okay.
But I was saying like the offensive philosophy is very much different. So it's gonna be a tough game. I got the Bears winning next week, but the Bears better get their acts together. I think defensively they can do a solid job against the Texans, but offensively, especially in the passing game, they have to be better. And Luke Getsy has to be a better play caller.
I agree. I mean, I'm not gonna go on record as far as who I'm gonna pick. But yeah, Getsy's got to be a better play caller. Because today, it was an utter failure on his part to generate, offense, that was working. The running game was working, and for me, you got to continue running, even if you got to use Tristan Ebner. If Montgomery and Hebert is tired, you got to keep running the ball until they stop it, and that's just my philosophy. I don't understand what the big, fascination is with just passing all the damn time. It's just I for me, I don't get it. I'm a little bit old school in my thinking, I guess. But I mean, you can't pass the ball if the other team knows you're gonna pass the ball. Just like you have to show a physical presence at the line of scrimmage. The Bears did that and he got away from it, and we paid for it, in my
opinion. Last thing, what are your thoughts on the whole rotation between Lucas Patrick and Tevin Jenkins?
I didn't have a problem with it because I mean it depends on the situation of how they used them. Now, when we were running the football, great. It's just that when we were passing the football, then that was a problem because it just seemed like they were it was mismanaged. Because keep in mind the coaches make those adjustments. I mean, the players don't go in and say, "Hey, Lucas, let me be center this play." Okay, thanks. I mean, it's it's a call that's made from the sidelines. And again, it was when we were running the football, great. Passing, just let's put these guys on the man. Justin's got to be on the move, man. It's just. Especially when we pass them, but we'll see next week against the Texans. But
we'll get out here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's game. But other than that, stay safe out there. Hit that subscribe button. Until then, guys, stay safe out there. See you guys next week for Bears versus Texans game recap. Peace.